Hello, and welcome to another speed build. Welcome to my swamp, or what will be a swamp. Building today in Copperdale, and it was originally built on the Totter Park lot. And that's why, as you saw at the beginning, it wasn't completely level. What I did was I bulldozed Totter Park, but I didn't bulldoze level the terrain. So that's why there's also still some terrain paint on there. And I did that on purpose because Totter Park has this nice little already elevated area there in the middle. And I felt like that would be really convenient to shape my swamp around. So that's why I did it that way. I decided, I started off thinking I wanted to build a shack in a swamp. And then that kind of morphed into like a cabin in the swamp. And it kind of became just a house in the swamp. But I knew I wanted to do something with a swamp. In hindsight, I think this might have been a good chance to build like maybe Shrek's swamp. But also this was built right before the newest pack was released, the fairy pack. Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. Enchanted by Nature? Is that what it is? I think so. Either way, I do think that I would like to eventually go back and do another swamp build and use things from that pack to build Shrek's swamp. I think that would be really fun. But not for a while, because first of all, everybody's inundated right now with new builds from that pack, which I understand. Everybody's excited. Everybody's wanting to build with it and play with it and everything. But typically when a new pack comes out, I do go ahead and get it. I haven't bought it yet. I'll probably buy it sometime next week because I'm not ready to start playing with it yet. I haven't even done any of the event yet that's up. I'll probably actually wait for another 2 or 3 days and just sit down and knock it all out once. So I'll just wait for like it to all be available. But I'm not ready to build with it yet. So I figure I'll probably get it maybe sometime next week. But I am excited for it, and I feel like one of the things I'm going to do with it is build Shrek's swamp. But like I said, that's probably going to be something that you might see in like late August, because I do have some other builds lined up that I wanted to do first. So we've moved on to the inside. Sorry, I start chatting and things continue to happen, and we're in the kitchen. I really wanted the inside of this to have like kind of like a cabin-like feel, but also I wanted it to be like nice and updated, as if these people had renovated it. Like you saw from the intro, there is a little debug house out back in the swamp, and my thought was that maybe that was like the original structure that was on this property, and perhaps, you know, this property's been in the family for generations, and as that structure in the back got older and unable to be maintained, they decided to have this house built. And then over the years, it's been updated and renovated because I didn't want to build something decrepit and falling apart in the swamp. I wanted it to be more for someone who wants that swamp aesthetic, but wants it to be a nice house for their Sims to be in. I am itching to do something dirty and falling apart and decrepit, and I did start a build, I want to say it was like about a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. And It's a large, extensive build, and I will continue working on it, and it probably won't be ready until December. So I'm not going to give you any spoilers on that, but it is definitely one that's going to be decrepit and falling apart and having a lot of that kind of detail in it. The issue I had with this house for the most part was I didn't really have a layout in mind for this house, as far as I just kind of built something. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with the floor plan inside, which is unusual for me because usually when I do a build, I'll at least go off some type of reference photo of a house. But typically that's because I'm doing something in a certain architectural style or a time period, like for my decades builds. But this one, I just wanted to sit down and build something that I enjoyed building, and all I knew was that I wanted it to be a swamp, because I was kind of inspired when I was building base game stuff in Willow Creek a few months ago, and you do have that one section of Willow Creek that has a lot of Louisiana style architecture, and there's also the little river area where the steamboat goes down through, which I featured in one of my other intros. And it comes out of an area that has like cypress trees with the Spanish moss hanging off of them. And I'm sorry, I got distracted because my Alexa is telling me that it's time to feed the dog, but I'm pretty sure my husband's going to take care of that. Sorry, I was saying, the cypress trees and the Spanish moss, and it looks very swampy, the area that it's coming out of. And so I wanted to build like an actual swamp. So as far as the floor plan of this goes, I kind of just tried to, I knew I wanted a nice big kitchen, and then I kind of just tried to stick things where they seemed logical if I was presented with this floor plan in real life. So the living room area ended up being a lot smaller than what I usually have, but I think it ended up being kind of cozy. And this was meant to be a mudroom, because I felt like, for realism's sake, if you're coming in from the back of the house, the side actually is where this is, there's a dock off the back and a dock off the side. And if you're coming in from either of those areas, you're more than likely going to be muddy. So I decided I wanted a mudroom for this entrance. Plus it gave you like some extra storage area, and it was a great place to put the washer and dryer to make like a little laundry room. And before you come for me about having coats hanging in a mudroom in a swamp area, when you live in a climate where you're used to it being 90 to 110 degrees year round and extremely high humidity, anytime it drops below like 70 degrees Fahrenheit, you get cold. So yes, for a few days during the winter, you are going to have coats that you're going to want to put on. So that's basically the bottom floor, is just the mudroom, the little desk area, the living room, and the kitchen dining room area down there. So now we're on the second floor, which technically only has 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. But in this second bedroom here, I decided to divide up the second bedroom and make part of it a nursery. And then the other side, which I'm working on now, is for a toddler life stage and a child life stage. And I did this because I thought this was a very unique idea for giving privacy spaces in a bedroom where you only have like a 2-bedroom house, but you've got more than one child. And it's an idea that I saw on a TikTok where a family had built a wall in their second bedroom to divide up the space for their children, because they had, I want to say they had 4 children and they had 2 in each side in the space. But it kind of gave them more of a sense of having their own space and more privacy. And if you've ever had a baby and a toddler and children all together at the same time, you know how inconvenient it would be for them to all share one room, especially when you're trying to get naps and bedtime accomplished. So I felt like this would be a cute idea to divide it up this way. I do go back down and put off camera, put a high chair downstairs in the dining room area and one of the little infant play mats. But I did forget to add a toddler potty. So if you do download this from the gallery and are expecting to play with a toddler, I would throw a toddler potty in there somewhere. Not sure exactly. I mean, you could even put it in the landing out there. There's definitely room in the primary bathroom when we get there, but you're probably going to need a toddler potty somewhere. Other than like the children specific things, everything has been play tested. I play test with a single sim, so I'm not able to play test the child specific things, but I haven't had any comments on the gallery about any of those things not working or having routing issues or anything like that. So I'm sure if there are, someone will eventually tell me, and I can always go in and fix it and re-upload it. But as far as I know, the house is completely, the property is completely functional. As far as there's no routing issues, everything works if it's supposed to work. Things that you would need to be able to access for your sim to interact with them are accessible. And if you do want to download this off the EA gallery, it is there. No CC as always. And it is under my EA ID pyxiedusted, just like the name of the YouTube channel. So for the primary bedroom, that whole built-in area around the bed just kind of happened by accident, because I was looking for some kind of nightstands that I hadn't used before, something interesting, something different, something smaller, because I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I feel like a lot of the nightstands and end tables that we have are just too big. They're very bulky. And I know that there are a few that have come out in not recent packs, but like packs from like the last 5-6 years or so that are a little smaller in design, but I hate to keep using those just over and over and over. So I don't use the Dream Home Decorator stuff a lot when I'm building, because I just don't like the style of it. But I felt like this would be a good opportunity to do just something a little different in that bedroom as far as nightstands go. And I also, for this bathroom, when I saw that we got the base game update for the glass walls, the first thing that popped into my head was those will be great for building showers, custom showers. So, I mean, they're good for a lot of things, but that's what I did with them in this build, was use them to build a custom shower. You don't look inside the house right now, as I'm doing the landscaping. This I did a lot of the landscaping before I actually started doing things in the house, but for sake of continuity of the video, I added those clips here at the end to show the landscaping. And of course, I did one of the things that I normally do, which is go through the debug menu and pull out multiples and just stack them up of landscaping objects, and then I can just pull from those stacks and move it all around the property. And especially when I'm doing a build like this, where it takes a lot of landscaping to get the look that you want, for me, I've found that that is the easiest way to accomplish it, is by doing that. So it is a little hard to follow when it's sped up with me just kind of zipping around and placing things like this, but that's why. That's what I was doing, was I was pulling them off of stacks of multiples and that I had laid out there. Also, using a lot of debug in a build like this helps keep your costs down, because this kind of build, to make it look as accurate as possible, requires a lot of landscaping. And if you go through and only use landscaping that's available in the build by menus, it adds up very, very quickly. I also went around and placed a lot of dragonflies, fish, and lightning bugs, and a few alligators. I did not put any mosquitoes, simply because I don't like having mosquitoes in gameplay. Like, yeah, realistically, this place would be full of mosquitoes. But for the sake of gameplay, I didn't put any. If you would like to go and add mosquitoes when you use this in your game, feel free. I just didn't want to do that to anybody. So the terrain paint goes fairly quickly, because I had already had a lot of the terrain paint there for me from Totter Park. And so that'll pretty much just wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you really enjoyed this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, everybody.